for... we have to do an extension of time. Deputy Chair, move. Seconder. Oh, and Deputy Mayor, second. All those in favour? Any opposed? No. Thank you for waiting all day. I'm sorry if you need to go out for dinner. Right, this seems very clear. I know you've been told to be quick, so please don't go through all 161 trees. Cool, thank you. Item 9, everyone.
Yeah, can we start? So good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry, Celia. Sorry.
We're just here to present the plan change on our proposed amendments to the schedule of notable trees, and we're wanting to get your recommendation on us going to notify this plan change. So I'll hand over to...
Kia ora koutou. So I'll be very quick, just a few slides just to sum up and a couple of photos at the end. So as Celia said, we're adding 174 trees and 29 groups of trees to Schedule 10, which is the notable tree schedule in the AUP. So currently we have about 2,800 entries in Schedule 10. You're probably aware that these are all rolled over from the Legacy Council's notable tree schedule. We've had several previous plan changes to amend the schedule, but this is the first one that's the most comprehensive plan change to add all of the remaining nominations that are held in Council's database. So plan change 83, that was notified in August 2022, and that commenced the process of evaluating all the nominations held in our database. So there's approximately 500 to 600 then at that time. They were received up to and including November 2020. And this plan change essentially carries on from that process. So we've also addressed some of the subsequent nominations as well up to the end of June last year. So the scope of this plan change is very narrow. It's simply to add these trees and groups of trees to the schedule. It's a focus on existing nominations only, so it doesn't look at any amendments or new. We're not calling for any new nominations. This is purely a focus on existing nominations. So the scope. I've really talked about the scope. So essentially any future nominations that we receive from now on, or actually from June last year, subsequent to June, will be addressed for inclusion in the AUP, which will be addressed as part of the review of the plan that starts next year, and with a notification in 2029, but obviously that's yet to be confirmed. So just to give you an idea of the spread of the new entries to the schedule by local board area, there's a fair spread there. Our local boards have received all the information around the different trees and groups that are proposed to be scheduled in the areas. And then just a quick graph on the numbers of natives versus exotics. So with the individual trees, there's quite a few more non-natives as opposed to natives, and with groups, there's quite a mix there. So just to give you an idea of some of the trees that we're scheduling, just to give you a bit of a third dimension on the plan change. So a hoop pine there in Mount Eden, which is quite a significant example of its species, which is relatively uncommon in the Auckland landscape, and it's also a significant tree in terms of its size and character and form as well. In Kohea Terrace in Epsom, quite an interesting tree. It's an oriental plane, which was, an oriental plane which actually was gifted to a member of the first graduating class of the Auckland Medical School in 1974. And that tree was believed to come from a seed from the tree of Hippocrates in Greece. So that's actually on the schedule because of its historic heritage value. And an ombu, which is located in Glenbrook, that's again a relatively uncommon tree in Auckland, and it has intrinsic value as in terms of its size and character and form as well. and a tuathara in Papatoi, obviously a very significant tree that is quite significant in terms of its size and character and form. And lastly, a coastal redwood in Remuera, which is a very long-lived species and scored up on its intrinsic value as quite a healthy tree of substantial size and character and form. So that's the end of that, and I'm happy to take questions.
Perfection. Thank you very much for speeding through. Huge body of work. I'll move, and Councillor Ferry has said she'd like to second. I've got 2 questions so far, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much. So look, the key with this is that to have a good process for people who do not want trees scheduled on their private property. Can you take us through that process, please?
Can I just confirm, Deputy Mayor, that you mean the process of consultation that we've done with those people, or?
No, so is this it? They can't come back again and go against having a notable tree on their property? Is the whole process finished, or do they still have a chance to go to the hearings, right?
Through the chair, so we now
I just wanted to understand that process.
Yeah, so we now have a process of public consultation, and we've also, we will be, if approval is given, to notify directly affected parties on all properties surrounding or adjoining the property on which the tree or group is, and those owners and the occupiers and also the directly affected parties will have an opportunity to submit either to support or not support the inclusion of the tree.
And the final decision maker on that, is that the hearings process, or does it come back here?
We will come back to you for approval to to make it operative. Sorry, yeah. So that's a future process. But from now on, once it's notified on 22nd of May, we will have 20 working days to have those submissions from the public and anyone that wants to submit.
And when do you expect it to come back here to be operative?
Well, look, I can't give you a time frame. We've got the submission, then further submission process, and then the hearings report, and then the hearing. So I'm not able to give you a time frame on that, but it will be this year.
Okay, this calendar year. That's good. And for the people who've been contacted to say that they now have notable trees on their property, what's been the feedback from those people, supportive or unsupportive?
So last year we contacted everybody who had a proposed nominated tree on their property, and we had a number of inquiries and feedback. It was mainly inquiries around what the implications were of having a notable tree, and some, generally speaking, were interested in the process, but there was no meaningful opposition that we had.
No meaningful opposition. That's great. Thank you for that. I'm happy.
Thank you. Mayor Brown.
Good work here. 2 questions. With this picture there, it's a very nice tree. I'm glad to see you're looking after it. Having made it protected, if it falls down on that house, have we increased our liability by having made it protected?
I wouldn't. No. I think there is an obligation on council to assess property issues with trees such as this. Our arborists have assessed all of them in terms of this sort of issue, but I don't believe so. I mean, I'd have to come back to you on that in terms of detail. I'm not entirely 100% sure.
Okay. And then secondly, on the groups, with individuals, we've got non-natives ahead of natives, which is more like, because we have a city which is supposedly proud of our diversity. With the groups of trees, it's the other way around. Are we pushing to save natives more than non-natives? Because I mean, we've got a hell of a lot of plane trees in the trees, and the autumn is a nice period in Auckland, because we have deciduous trees, none of which are native. But we are a city that provides itself in diversity, and so should our trees look that way. I know that the motorways are now almost exclusively non-native, which is very bland, I've got to say. I mean, as much as I'm a great supporter of native issues, they're not too good on the flowering side of things.
Yes, I take your point, and I suppose to that I would say that we don't really have any control over the nominations and the sort of spread of what people are wanting to.
It's just what there is, that's not what you're telling them.
That's right.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
And 60% of the individual protections are for non-native tree. Is majority non-native, that's correct?
Yes, that's right. Yes, so we did, when I did the tally up, there were slightly more that were non-native, yeah.
Cool, I think that's all the questions. I'll get you to both step back. I think we'll just debate this one. Cool. We didn't have to spend 4 hours. Councillor Fletcher.
Apologies, Chair. I'm not there in person. I had the dentist today, but mine was actually a question.
Oh, whoops, sorry. I'll just get Celia.
I didn't get there quite fast enough before.
Ruth and Celia will come to the table.
May I speak in favour of, in general, but I would just put the caveat that I live on Bourne Street, so one of the trees is one in an area that I live, but also on Bourne Street, running alongside my boundary are 3 scheduled Pahutakawa trees. And in one of the really bad storms, one of the branches came down over my drive and took down part of the dry rock wall, meaning that there was no access to and from the property. And it did cause a huge amount of difficulty before we could actually deal with the tree because it was scheduled. So I just want the comfort in knowing that, and I'm all in favour of the scheduling, that when it comes to maintenance or casualties, storm related and so forth, that the process for remedial action is not cumbersome.
Yes, so through the chair, yes, that is an issue, but I would point out that there is the ability for council to deal with those issues quite quickly. So even though there is, rules applied to scheduled trees, there is the ability within that rule framework to address issues such as the one that you mentioned. But yes, it is a good point.
No, well, I appreciate that, because in actual fact, it wasn't as easy as I had hoped that it would be. Also, with the Bourne Street one, what number is the property on Bourne Street?
I haven't got my computer in front of me. I'll need to come back to you on that one. I actually think
Thank you.
Sorry, I was going to say actually there is an appendix to this committee.
Yeah, no, there's hundreds of pages on the appendix, and I hadn't worked my way through it.
Yes, I can come back to you with that number.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, that was the end of questions. Thanks very much to the team and also the Tree Council for their advocacy on this. This is sadly our only way to protect trees. This will be consulted on. It is an expensive way to do it, and hopefully through future RMA processes we may get change, like we almost did until it was changed again 2 years ago. Right, all those in favour? Any opposed? Perfect. Right, now on to 10.